Hello from Kensington Security Consulting, where we bring education to national security. I am Mark Solinsky, and this episode is called Ramming Muslims, Cars, Pedestrians in Europe. Last week, I discussed the rampant and random stabbing attacks. I offered you the term getting stabby, a play on words. In England, it means getting irritable and getting skewered on the street, generally by a knife-wielding Muslim in the name of Allah. Well, this applies to running people over as well as impaling them. I don't have any gallows humor or punny phrase for vehicle killings. Is there an equivalent for getting stabby? I don't know of any. Let me know if you do. But let's get right to the stories. Well, you likely heard about yet another car ramming incident in Europe. More specifically, a 21-year-old named Abdul Ballout. Following the terror attack during the Christopher Street Day event in Berlin, a car struck several people in the Tiergarten area. One woman died in the attack, and over 16 were wounded. According to the German magazine Bild, he was a German citizen of Lebanese descent. If you are curious about Christopher Street, it is a famous street in Manhattan that attracted many gays before the Stonewall Riot of 1968. Back to Berlin. Well, Ballout had a past, not a clean one. In fact, he has a long criminal record. But why would a repeat offender plow a car into a group of peaceful gays celebrating an annual festival? Why kill his fellow countrymen? What gives? Well, the answer lies in Islamofascism. Last week, I shared an episode called Getting Stabby. I quoted Robert Spencer, and I will do so again. The Islamic State issued this call back in September 2014. Here it is. So, O Muwahid, do not let this battle pass you by wherever you may be. You must strike the soldiers, patrons, and troops, strike their police, security, and intelligence members, as well as their treacherous agents, destroy their beds, embitter their lives for them, and busy them with themselves. And as it continues, if you are not able to find an IED or a bullet, then single out the disbelieving American, Frenchman, or any of their allies, smash his head with a rock, or slaughter him with a knife, or run him over with your car, or throw him down from a high place, or choke him or poison him. Sound familiar? It should be, because this sentiment is often repeated by Muslim clerics. Notice that the demand is to kill by any means possible with a bullet, bomb, poison, rock, knife, or car. Use whatever you have. And Islamofascists do just that. According to Bild, Ballout was long part of the Islamofascist scene in Berlin. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz declared, "We will not allow this poison of terrorism to spread further in our society." That was tough talk indeed, but what are the chances he will purge the poison of terrorism from Germany? And notice that Chancellor Merz did not mention Islam, let alone Islamofascism. I have discussed this ad nauseum. Western leaders avoid at almost all costs the ideology that drives the attacks, and that ideology is Islamofascism. European leaders are not alone. Several gay activists openly stated this. Before Ballout's identity was known, they hoped the perp was a Christian white person. And this is the mindset of intersectionality, which is part of the Green-Red Alliance. I have discussed this repeatedly. Was Ballout the only Islamofascist to bowl over Europeans like 10 pins? Hardly. In February of last year, Farhad N. carried out an Islamofascist vehicular rampage in Germany. He killed several infidels but did not die in the attack. The prosecutor in his case said he acted out of religious motivation. Well, yes, so what was that religion? Was he a Lutheran? Lots of Lutherans in Germany, and Catholics too. Jews? Probably not. Most are long gone. Buddhists or Hindus? Maybe, I suppose. Well, sometime later, somebody in the prosecutor's office added, He believed he was obliged to attack and kill randomly selected people in Germany in response to the suffering of Muslims in Islamic countries. Now let's examine the logic here. He drives into a crowd of Germans because Muslims abroad suffer. Did Germans cause the suffering? Yes, how? And were the Germans at this German rally directly responsible for the suffering of Muslims abroad? Yes. I don't see how. Well, if this makes sense to you, please explain it to me. Let's turn to another ramming in Germany. This time it is a combination of ramming, burning, and slashing in an Islamofascist attack. In September 2024, a 41-year-old Syrian national wounded 31 people, including 2 children, who were left in critical condition in arson attacks in Essen. He, like the killer of Christopher Street, was well known to police. This attack was planned. This Islamo-fascist set several residential buildings aflame, randomly slashed kafirs with a machete, and ran his car into several storefronts. He carried a Palestinian flag as he attacked. Okay, let's go to Norway and examine the case of a woman who plowed into pedestrians. An Islamo-fascist woman deliberately ran her sports utility vehicle into a man who had just burned a Quran. But you would not know this from the AFP headlines. Robert Spencer pointed out the AFP headlines, which read, "Woman jailed over car chase with Norway anti-Islam activist." Well, yes, this is true, I guess. She is a woman. It was a car chase. The victim was certainly opposed to Islamofascism, and I assume he had little time for Islam in general. But I think the headline was intentionally misleading. First, what kind of woman was she? Christian, pagan, Quaker? Don't you think it matters? Well, I do. She attacked her victim in the name of Islam to avenge a slur against Islam, and the victim was a critic of Islam. I see a lot of Islamic issues in this woman. Let's go to the car chase. Maybe it is me, but I think of a car chase as Bonnie and Clyde types of things. Or the scene in The French Connection, a great movie. Better yet, Steve McQueen scouring the streets of San Francisco with his '68 Mustang and Bullet. But is running over somebody with a car chase? What do you think? I would call it a car killing. Now we move to the last part of the headline, which is the characterization of the victim as a critic of Islam. This is true. Yes, sure. But he was also a free speech activist. He was also a defender of Western civilizations and norms. He was a Norwegian patriot. So I suggest we conjure up some alternative headlines. These are a few. Female Islamofascist tries to kill Norwegian patriot. Here is another one. Rampaging Muslim woman, berserker kills civil rights advocate. I could go on, and yes, I am being sarcastic. I'll stop. But I think you get my point, and this is about it for this episode. Thanks for listening. Nothing in this podcast represents the official position of the United States government. I am very excited about the publication of my latest book, Cauldron of Terror, Hamas, Israel, and the World, 500 Days in Gaza. On behalf of Kensington Security Consulting, until next time, this is Mark Selinsky, out here.